And we are live.
Ah, wonderful. Another free flow Saturday. We don't know if I don't even know it's Saturday number what, but I know it's free and it's flowing.
We've stopped counting at this rate.
Ah, hmm. The notification is here, so everything looks, as the Americans say, honky dory.
Hunky dory. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So
So,
we
yes.
our, our finance bill went through.
Uh-huh.
What I noticed, I don't know if I was reading into the situation too much, but when it came to you, it was open voting. They
hmm
call out your name, then you say yes or no. So,
Why did they do that, by the way? Is that they wanted to shame?
well, it was said that the digital voting system had a problem, but that one was a bit better because we could actually know who is voting no or yes. And
hmm
funny enough,
And that's what they wanted.
a majority of people voting no
hmm
were not around.
mm
There's a very
Yep.
heavy voting abstinence
Yeah.
from
They absconded. Yeah.
yeah, they are absconding, and it was a landslide for the S team. I think it was 158 to 76. If I'm not wrong.
Mm. hmm
Yeah. They no could not even go past 80.
Mm.
So either I'm reading too much in the situation, or somebody got their bahashas, the envelopes,
hmm
or some accounts got greased or something. I don't know,
hmm
but
hmm
even the very vocal ones, they were just left out. Others, I know there were two people who sort of left the chamber,
hmm
and by the time the chamber closes, you can't vote. You can't vote from outside.
hmm
Mm. Because they were calling someone, he was in the galleries, but the speaker said the gallery is not a chamber, so your vote doesn't count. So I don't know
mm
they did that intentionally or what.
So he was a member of parliament who was seated at the gallery, not at the chamber.
Yes, but the rules were
Mm.
very clear. The vote has to be made from the chamber, not the gallery. So
Mm.
the bill has gone through, but our good friend Omkia Umtata is preparing to go to court.
Yeah, man, Omkio Mutata should be branded as the people's protector.
Remember, he
Uh,
doesn't have training in law. I doubt if he has training in law.
mm.
I doubt, but he normally wins. Even that
But
thing of there was a time to do with
does he
Safaricom.
represent himself or he will end up hiring lawyers?
No, he normally goes by his own.
But will he be the one arguing the case or he will have a
He's the
lawyer?
one. He is the one who normally argues.
And that is allowed. That's legal. A
You can
non-lawyer
represent
to
yourself.
represent. You can also represent yourself.
No,
Okay.
you can represent yourself.
So so your reading of this was the Azimio MPs,
Mm.
even though they want to be seen that they were against the bill,
Mm.
the easy cop out mechanism that they did was, you know,
To
leaving the
abscond.
chamber to
Mm.
abscond a vote.
Some didn't even turn
But
up.
behind the scenes, they are likely to have uh, been given a brown envelope.
Okay, okay, what else is the case? Because if you are very vocal outside there,
Yeah.
and then when it comes to an opportunity to get rid of
Yeah.
uh, that bill, you don't show up. How am I supposed to understand you?
I agree because even though they were opposed to it, what they should
Mm.
have done at least is to register that no vote,
Yes.
regardless of if they didn't have a quorum, they didn't have the numbers,
Mm.
at least a registered no vote. But
Mm.
the idea of absconding more or less to be seen as, I think, was an easy cop out for them, because they still want to maintain the image that they are against the bill,
Mm.
but they didn't follow through to register their protest of that bill in the formal way that they should have done, which was in this case, you know, registering their no vote. So yes, it's, and again, this goes back to the structure of our politics, and more or less, I think it's the politics that we live in, even globally, where you typically have only two sides to a story. You've got the pro government or the pro administration people, and the so-called opposition. So
Mm.
there's a lack of a representation of the varied views that we have out there, that you can only have only two views. And we know this sort of two-party system, as much as one can be seen to be said to be opposing the government, they are in a sense in bed together.
Yeah, that is why
Uh,
whenever there's anything to do with salary increment, there's no uh,
there's no opposition. And you see, this is the other thing. I mean, okay, our MPs are well paid, but even with that sort of salary that they that they have, the kind of lavish life that they live doesn't equate as much to what their income is. And worldwide, you see all this. Why is it that politicians, amass so much wealth during their
well,
political career? Even places, you can go even to places like the US, where I think even our MPs probably earn more than the members of legislature in both Senate and the House in places like the US. But you still find those MPs, if you track them for the life of the time they have been in service with government, they have actually increased their net worth. So you wonder, how are they earning this? I mean, if you were to equate that salary to someone out there probably working either in private sector, there is no way they can match the wealth of the politicians.
in fact, I think Kenyan politicians, the only thing we match at global scale is salaries. The Kenyan
Mhm.
politicians are at global standards when it comes to paychecks. But when you look at the ordinary way of living, man, we are far off the mark by very far. But
Correct.
it's like you're at a situation whereby you are a parent
Mhm.
and there's little food in the house, and you decide that you are the one who's going to eat the food. The children can sleep hungry.
Yeah.
It's like
So and mhm. Go ahead.
you are the one who takes the milk tea and the fried meat, quick soup, chapati, uh, pilau, biryani, and your children will just go to sleep with this strong tea, milkless tea,
Yeah. Mm.
and nothing. That's the situation you're facing currently. When you hear the
Yeah.
budget, I don't know, catering in State House, how many millions? Ah, Sharif Mustafa, karibu sana. We are discussing
Man.
how our MPs, leave alone the general leadership.
Yeah.
It's like that parent whereby you say it's in the evening, you have your three kids there. Then we only have uh, four loaves of bread and some bit of milk and whatnot. So you say, you as the parent, you will take the milk tea, four loaves of bread for dinner, and the children can take some water. And
Yeah.
when they complain, say we'll add some sugar in the water and
Yeah.
style so it will become sweet. So that's what's happening. That divide between leadership and the people who are being led is a headache. And when you look at places like Holland, where is it the prime minister? The guy walks to work sometimes.
Or cycles,
Yeah,
or you get into the train system.
yeah. To show that this system, this transport system, is effective for everyone.
Exactly.
And they are not doing that during campaign period. It's just this is how we operate.
This is their everyday life.
Then we have this former president. Is it some West Eastern European country? Is it Bolivia or what? This
Ah,
guy,
yeah,
he rides used when he was president. He used to drive to work in a Volkswagen Beetle.
exactly. Yeah, I remember seeing those images. Was it
And
not a
when
South American president,
South
or was it?
American, South American, and then when you there was a time he was not feeling well, he
Mhm.
actually joined the queue in a
At a,
public hospital. So this is part of the public health system. I have to be part of it to see how it works. But our dear loving people, they'll be on the first plane to Sweden, America, or whatnot, because they know the current health system. If they go there, they are going to die. That's the reality we are facing. Mhm. That is the standard of leadership that we have. You seem to be frozen, my friend. Your bundles are out. Mr. Andrew Mutua seems to be in a shithole country. Let's wait for him a bit. Seems to have. Yep, this guy is completely frozen. And he's out. We'll wait for him a bit. He ran out of bundles or whatnot. Or his device has run out of charcoal. So I think I'll have to run the show on my own with my. It will be a single presenter and a single audience, Mr. Sharif Mustafa. So the issue is that we have a leadership that really um, is not really in tune with the people on the ground. So basically, what's going on is that um, we are like children of a parent who is totally irresponsible. Look at the size of our motorcades. Look at the size of the motorcades that leaders use. It's fantastically. It will. Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe some Chantel. Chantel has popped into the scene with a very nice micro mini and cleavage. And Andrew Mutua went from host to Kinudia. It's allowed. It's allowed. So if you look at our motorcades, you look at our display of ostentatiousness by our leaders, and you compare the people on the ground, it's completely crazy. In fact, our motorcades are normally world class. If you take a motorcade from a third world country and a motorcade from a developed country, you think that they are very much at par. But when you move from the motorcade to the ordinary individuals, is where you realize, oh, this is where the shit hits the farm. So that is how that it is. It is what it is. So this has been race week, my favorite sport, Formula One. It's been one hell of. I'm a Formula One fan, more so Mercedes. So last week we were in Spain and made the upgrade. He's back. We,
you know
we
what?
just we are talking about with Sharif Mustafa,
Yes.
and we said Chantel had appeared with a micro mini skirt and cleavage and the brown skin and
I wish.
weave that is reaching to the shoulder, and you tell you hi. When you hear hi, all the logic, the MVP,
It's
the
all gone.
business disappears. You
Yeah.
start thinking wedding bells.
Man, I think
while
it's my
while
connection.
while you are away, we
Hmm.
made some comparisons in the motorcades.
Yes.
I was just saying, uh, if you take a motorcade of a third world country leader and you
Hmm.
compare the motorcade of a first world leader, they look the same. The standards are bumper to bumper. But when you
Hmm.
move from the motorcade to the ordinary person on the ground, then you realize, oh, this is where the shit is the fun.
Hmm.
The motorcades are at par, the residences are at par, the
Hmm.
administration building at par. But when you
Yes.
go down to if you try now, move from the motorcades and go to the hospitals,
Hmm.
and you see where the magic happens.
Hmm.
Move from the motorcades, go to the clinics. Move from the motorcade, see, go to the house, to the water supply. Just use the motorcade as a reference. Motorcade is okay. How you compare the motorcades? Well and good. Compare the residences? Well and good. Now compare water supply, compare power supply, compare general infrastructure,
Hmm.
compare schools. Then
Yes.
you'll come to realize something is fantabulously wrong somewhere. Why such a huge disconnect between? It's like the leadership is living in the world of their own. So, but then again, are we not the ones to blame? Because you're the ones who keep voting them.
No, we are.
Hmm.
We
And
are.
then uh, nine and a half, 9.5 out of 10 of the people, like we normally have these bunge ya mtaani, these groupings of people, they talk about leaders. If I can say 9.5 out of 10, if you put them in leadership positions, they'll
Yeah.
probably even do worse. So I think we are split into two main groups. Group number one, corrupt people in power. Group number two, people who are not in power, but they are corrupt. They have not had an opportunity to exercise their corruption. Then in between are people operating in between the cracks. But majority of us place us in leadership positions will probably have there'll be an increment in scandals. Look at the way our companies are run. The richest people in organizations tend to be in procurement. So I think it's in our fabric, it's in our DNA. That's why we should not engage in this activism, because activism, you don't know, activism is like a very huge dragnet that is dragging a lot of people. You are looking for tilapia. What if you drag in a snake, a shark, or a crocodile or something? The the data or the DNA of the ordinary Kenyan is fantastically corrupted. So the best thing is do your own thing. If you man, this guy and Chantel,
Man, this connection today,
hmm,
it's disconnecting from my phone and then
hmm,
going into. I think this is okay. Okay, let's continue. I
hmm.
hope today it's a bit unstable, but yeah. So it's a bit sad that, and as you say, yes, we are voting these leaders.
Hmm.
These leaders are,
They are our
and as you say,
representation.
we always end most of our conversation saying, "Are we the stupid ones?"
Yes. Are we
Because
the silly ones?
we can see some of the clear solutions to some of the problems that plague us. I mean, they seem so obvious. It's not a no-brainer. You don't need a rocket science to decipher some of these problems and probable solutions. But yet, we are not following through. I was even looking at the budget, and as they say, how you spend your money clearly shows where you place your priorities. And you could see, look at the allocation that they gave to affordable housing vis-a-vis what they gave to the manufacturing. Now, really, does that align? with that objective of trying to increase or alleviate unemployment that we have.
And
If
how are you
anything,
going to pay? How
manufacturing
are
would
you
have
going?
been the number one.
And how are you going to? What use is a house to you when you are jobless?
100%.
I may be jobless. Then you say I'm going to help. I'm going to give you a house, a single house, not even a storied house that I can rent out. Just a single standing compound house. How am I even going to pay for power bills? I'm going to pay for the utility bills of the house if I don't have money. So I don't
It's
know.
clear. It's
Hmm.
clear that they are doing this to service their own henchmen. So there
Well, at the end
must be
of the day,
someone that is awaiting to gain out of that, to be either contracted by government as a developer, part of that entire value chain, in terms of provision of construction of materials. These are all deals that they are trying to create for their people.
well,
It has no relevance towards elevating the country to solving the unemployment problem, increasing our income, and all these positive things.
but you see, then again, as we complain too much, let us not minimize on the because these people are a representation of us. As
Mm,
I said, there are two major classifications of people:
mm,
corrupt people in power and corrupt people not in power. Then a
mm,
very tiny microscopic bunch of characters just operating within, trying to move around. Maybe you can put Okia Umtata inside there, that tiny microscopic group that
mm,
is trying to sort of, it's like you are trying to wedge yourself against a very huge rolling stone of corruption.
mm,
But it's simply
mm,
true the two major groups, the major
mm,
protagonists are the
mm.
corrupt in power and the corrupt who have not had access to that power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if now they look holy and very sensible people, put them in that position of power, you'll see they'll still be following through that very same. If they wouldn't be worse, there'll be the same people looking to rent sick. There'll be the same people, amassing wealth for themselves through public coffers. There'll be the same people following the same scheme. I don't know if
It's like
it's a
it's a DNA.
disease.
It's not a disease. It's just DNA.
We
You
are
cannot
built
say
for.
that. You can't say that when a lion has a male lion has a lot of hair or a man on his head, that lion is sick. No. So this is a DNA that has been
It's
developed,
built like that. Yeah.
and it's not going to change. What is going to happen will be a few individuals out there will
Mhm.
be in a perpetual uh, war against these people, and it will take something in the category of what this of a meteor strike. They say it is a meteor strike which wiped out the dinosaurs. Correct?
Mm, mm,
Yeah. There's no creature which fought off the dinosaurs. A
mm,
meteor strike wiped them. So we may need
mm,
something like a political meteor strike or an
mm,
administrational meteor strike to come in and simply wipe off these characters. We can
annihilate, completely decimate Kenya, and then afresh, a new people with a new way of
exactly
thinking are
something in
born.
the
Because
category of a meteor strike. But the
mm,
rate at which we are going, oh man, because even away from government, look at the corporates. In
mm,
an organization, it is normally in people who are in procurement who are very rich.
mm,
Huh. It's people who are in procurement who are very rich. We have situation whereby heads of departments are put there to satisfy a particular agenda.
mm,
And you find it's a political agenda that the corporate has a capacity to do its own internal hiring mechanisms, but there'll
mm,
be phone calls from certain government positions say, "Oh, we need this man here because they represent so and so." So
yeah.
that those sort of games are in basically in our DNA. It's not going anywhere, and as much as they may exist in other parts of the world, it's not as explicitly rotten as in ours, whereby, you know, you can say, let us, we are milking, let's say, 10 liters. So we'll say to the public, we milk.
Ish. No, it's Brian. We've lost Brian or what? Sheriff, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. I saw the light go off, so I don't know if he has lost electricity. Hey, today is not our day.